really talk about the future, but could you just, for me, just assess what you thought of the first weekend all around about your ball club?
Well, I thought we had a good weekend opening, the first 3 games here at Carolina Stadium. We played a team in Santa Clara that didn't make any mistakes. They didn't make an error on the weekend. They executed the bunt game. Their pitchers were not power pitchers, but they moved the ball around. They threw some 2-seamers. I thought they were very effective. It was hard to win 3 games. If you look at the scores, you say, well, you had a close game on Saturday. Every game was in the balance. 6-5 in the 8th inning on Friday, 2-1 on Saturday, 0-0 in the 6th on Sunday. The games could have gone either way. We played well, and we stayed in position to win, but they stayed in a position to win as well. And overall, I thought it was a good weekend for us. Our starters did a nice job. I thought our bullpen was good. The only guy that didn't have good numbers was Stephen Neff, and I thought he threw the ball pretty well. A couple balls got out, and they found some holes, but I liked his velocity, and he came in and got a big strikeout his first inning. So it was a good opener for us.
Was what you saw out of Westmoreland kind of what you'd seen through the fall and the preseason, and how encouraging was that?
It was encouraging. He continues to get more comfortable. I think he continues to improve. Nobody had great velocity really last weekend. They threw the ball well, some of the guys in the bullpen, but he continues to, I think, get better each time out, and his velocity is going up as well, and that's good to see. But the key for Westmoreland, for me right now, he's healthy and he's comfortable, and he had a good mix, 3 pitches, and he was very effective.
Looks like last weekend, the 3 pitches all had about an 80 pitch count. Are you going to raise that a little bit this weekend, or are you going to pretty much stick to that 80 figure?
I'm not, so I know it turned out that way, but we probably could have gotten a few more out of them last week than 80. But, excuse me, we're confident in our bullpen. So I don't think we're going to hesitate to go that way. And since it was their first outing and they were going to come out of the game anyway, we just felt like it was the right time. It just happened to be around that 80 mark. But it'll be dictated by how they pitch.
I know you guys want to pile up as many wins as you can in the non-conference schedule before you get in the conference schedule. What do you tell your guys about approaching this on these series?
It's important that you emphasize every game and everything. Every game you play, there's a sense of urgency, and I think our guys understand that. It's a long season. It's a marathon, but you don't want to look back and go woulda, coulda, shoulda. You got to make sure you're ready to play, and if you get beat, you get beat. But you can't ever look back and feel like the approach wasn't good enough, or we didn't play hard enough, or things like that. I think that's ridiculous, and our guys have been really good about that in the past. And we could have lost a game or 2 last weekend, and I would have been disappointed. But I felt like we played well, we played hard, and guys were getting down the line and were doing some good things. So I expect that to continue because of our experience. Guys like Wingo and Morales and Rolfe and Jackie Bradley and Matthews and guys that have played a little bit. I don't expect that to be an issue. We know that you better hold serve the best you can at home, but you're not going to win them all either. You want to be able to look yourself in the mirror at the end of the day and say it wasn't a good day for us, but we came out ready to go.
And how much do you know about Southern Illinois coming in?
I don't know a lot. I know they won 2 out of 3 their first weekend on the road, long road trip. They got 3 guys back, they hit over 300. 1 guy double-digit home runs. They got a junior college arm that's pitched pretty well for them. They got a lefty that I think is scheduled Saturday that was there last year, and those guys got extended last weekend. I think they all went 5, 6, 7 innings. So they'll compete and they'll do a good job, I'm sure.
What do you like about the way Adam handled himself through that adversity last year, and what ultimately separated him in the end in the last 2 or 3 weeks to get that 3rd spot?
I think he performed. He was comfortable. He performed. He had some experience here, which was a couple of years ago, but it still counts. And I just felt like in the preseason he was very comfortable where he was, and he pitched well, and he was holding runners good. 3-pitch mix. So I felt like he deserved to be out there, and he'll be out there again this weekend.
And what about last year? Just the way that he it was a great season for the team, but, him having to watch him.
Difficult, no doubt. And, he was here all the time. He's a part of our program, and he, had to work out on his own. He, worked hard to get in better physical condition than he'd ever been in. He had to rehab. It's got to be a tremendous challenge. And I can't say enough good things about how he handled himself, and our trainers working with him and put him in a position to be successful again. That's not an easy thing to do, to take a year off and have to rehab and have to not travel and be a part of things, even though I know he felt close to his teammates. He wasn't a part of things, and I know he's ecstatic to be back in there.
Looks like, looking at the numbers, that their Friday night guy, Maldonado, I think he's a guy that's out of Wichita State. So he's been a major college pitcher before and did pretty well in JUCO last year. Just listening to Coach Holbrook on the radio, he said he's going to present you guys with a major challenge here on Friday night.
Well, he's going to come at us. There's no doubt about that. You think about the position he's in. They're coming into our place, and he'd like nothing more than to have his best game ever and beat us in the opening game of the series. So I'm sure he's looking forward to pitching against us, and he'll be ready to go.
You're going to have to start looking after this weekend at midweek starters as well. Could I get you to talk a little bit about where you think Brian Harper's going to fit into that, and also the circumstances that led to him coming here?
Well, the midweek situation, I think, will probably, right now, according to how this weekend goes, it'll be Colby Holmes, Harper, or Neff. I like Harper and Neff where they were last weekend. That's not to say that they'll stay there, but I think we've got some very capable guys, and Holmes really didn't get an opportunity last weekend because he was coming off of an illness. So, we'd like to get his feet wet this weekend, and he possibly could be a candidate for Tuesday. We just, through the recruiting process, Harper's name came up, and we signed another pitcher from Southern Nevada as well, and
right.
Coach Holbrook went out there, and he liked what he saw, and we brought him in, and we recruited Brian Harper. We didn't recruit Bryce Harper, we recruited Brian Harper, and he's never said a word to me about that. He's very close to his brother, but I also think that he wanted to be Brian Harper and to get recruited for his own identity, and he seems to be very comfortable here, and I look forward to outstanding innings this year from him.
And his brother came in last weekend.
Yeah, his brother came in last weekend and took a little batting practice, and quite enjoyable to watch.
You didn't have an extra uniform for him?
I probably could have worked that out had it been legal. That was quite impressive. I threw a little batting practice to him myself, and I was actually, as I was throwing BP to him, thinking how that would be to be him, because that was special. It's just different, but he was the first pick in the country, and there's a reason for it. And one of my friends was actually at spring training when he was there on Monday, and created a little bit of stir when he got there, and we had a chance to visit by phone, and he got a chance to talk to Bryce down there when he reported. So it was kind of neat having him here. The family was here, and he got a chance to see his brother pitch.
All right, go ahead. How scary is your lineup? I mean, it just seems like the fact that you guys are getting timely hits when you need them.
Well, I don't think we're very scary. I mean, we, I'd like to think it's a pretty good group that can put together some runs, but, the experience counts a lot. But it's important. It's important you get leadoff guys on and you get them around. There's no question about it. I don't know what's going to happen as time goes on, but runs are hard to come by. And the ball stays in the park, or it appears to right now. So I'm still trying to. I was on the phone this morning with Coach Perno from Georgia. I talked to a couple other coaches. I talked to Coach Lee this week, trying to get a handle on how you really should manage now. As far as getting base runners, when you get them, what you do with them, and just hasn't been that many home runs hit. So you got to try to get some runs. I think a good game is when you get one run more than once. One an inning for 4 or 5 innings, that's 5 runs. So that might be a good output. Time will tell. Now, yeah, I'm looking at the weather forecast earlier, and the winds are supposed to be close to 20 tomorrow after the rain passes by. Will that be a factor or not? Have to see.
Ray, back to that midweek question, where does Forrest Kumis fit into those plans? Do you like him out of the pen right now? Could he challenge for that role?
Coach Myers and I visited a little bit yesterday about Forrest. You know, he's a guy that you could almost look at and say he could be a closer in this program, some this year and certainly in the future. However, he's a multiple pitch guy. You know, he can throw 3 or 4 pitches, so that gives him an opportunity to maybe be a front line guy as well. Time will tell. We're glad we got him a couple of innings the other day, and we'll probably get him back out there this weekend. I think it's too early to say how his future will be determined, but he's got good enough stuff, I believe, to be a short guy. But because of his versatility and the number of pitches he throws, he could end up being a starter as well.
I guess Southern Illinois, they lost their head coach last November he passed away because of a rare form of skin cancer. I mean, just think about what their program is going through in terms of what they've had to endure the last 3 or 4 months. The fact they were able to go down to Louisiana last weekend and win 2 out of 3 games. How remarkable is that considering what they've been through?
Well, it's very impressive. I scheduled this series. With
Yep.
Coach Callahan.
Yeah.
And Coach Henderson and I talked on the phone a number of times because he helped work out the logistics. And Coach Callahan and I had played many years ago when I was coaching at NC State. I believe he was at Western Illinois at the time. And we sort of developed a relationship, and when we got an opportunity to play, we had some phone dialogue for a number of days to get it all worked out, and I really wasn't aware that that he wouldn't be with us this weekend. I didn't know the severity of his health situation, and it touched me a little bit from the standpoint that I didn't know the situation well enough to understand. All of a sudden, here we are getting ready to play Southern Illinois. I expected him to be here, and that's I think very difficult for his program, but he's probably also inspired them in a great way. And I know that his team and Coach Henderson will be ready to go. They're looking forward to being down here this weekend. I know they'll play well.
They were a national power in the late 60s, early 70s. By my count, they went to Omaha 5 times in the span of 9 years. Does Southern Illinois sort of represent maybe the decline of college baseball in the Midwest and the Northeast, maybe try to get back to that point where maybe it's more of an international game as opposed to where it's now, where it's dominated by the Southeast and the West Coast teams?
I don't know. I can answer that question. I know that Itchy Jones was the head coach at that time, and Neil had it well documented today, a great article in the state newspaper, and talked about the history. They did have some great programs, some great players, and I think that tradition is important, and it helps in a lot of ways. And I know that presents more problems for us this weekend. There's a great history at Southern Illinois.
Ray, do you have any weekend numbers on home runs? You did after opening day. Did you get any final weekend numbers?
No, I just called a few coaches and did my little personal tab, but it's interesting. It is. Somebody called me on Sunday and said, "Hey, a 2-1 game on Saturday must have been great." I said, "Not really. Wasn't all that great." 8-7 would have been fine with me, but it's a little bit different. Whether it will stay that way, I don't know. But I know every time we got the leadoff guy on, which wasn't a lot, immediately I'm thinking, do we do something here? And in years past, I wouldn't have thought that way until probably 6th, 7th, 8th inning. I would have been thinking big inning versus let's try to get one here. So we'll see.
Any other questions for Coach?